Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we have something incredible to take a look at. This is something I've been so hyped for, so impatiently waiting for its release, and unfortunately it actually hasn't fully released quite yet because there are some really cool extras that are going to come with the official release, but I was lucky enough to get a hold of it a little bit early because I really couldn't wait any longer. But this is the Carnosaur Tyrannosaurus Rex from Artic Figures, and never in a million years would I ever have expected to have a Carnosaur Tyrannosaurus Rex in my collection. I really never would have expected to have an articulated version as well, but he absolutely nailed the likeness of this. I think it looks super cool, kind of gives you the full body visual of the Carnosaur T-Rex. There's actually kind of two different versions. One is that kind of like puppet version, and then there's also like the full-bodied version, and this looks like the full-bodied version pretty much exactly, if you ask me, even capturing that smaller tail that the dinosaur has in the film. So I'm really excited about this. I got it painted up before I even reviewed it because I normally would review it unpainted and then paint it up, but I just couldn't wait. So excited for the arrival of this one. So I got it painted up right away, and we're now ready to go jump to a closer look at this beautiful Carnosaur Tyrannosaurus right now. So starting up here at the head sculpt of our Carnosaur Tyrannosaurus Rex, look at how incredible the fine detail is on this. He absolutely hammered out probably some of the most impressive detailing I think I've ever seen on an Artic Figures release. Like, there is just so much skin texture to be found here in the face of the T-Rex. It really looks incredible. You can see the nostrils are sculpted very nicely. I've highlighted them with a darker tone, giving them a little bit of a gloss coat to kind of make them look a little more realistic. And I tried my best to add quite a bit of variation of tones of color here to the face because, you know, it's actually kind of hard to get a good idea of what the coloration of the Carnosaur T-Rex is because there's just so much as far as like different images of it, but it's almost always in the dark. It's almost always really hard to get a look at the color scheme of the Rex. So this is basically my best guess because I didn't have that good of reference material to come up with an idea for the paint scheme, but it seems like the majority of the Rex is kind of like reddish tones, and then it darkens to a much darker tone as you move up into the face. So that's kind of what I tried to replicate here with mine, and I think it has black eyes. Some images have kind of led me to believe that, so I gave it some nice black eyes, and I think again it turned out really nicely. But super impressive sculpt on the part of Artic Figures, again really capturing the likeness of this T-Rex again in picture perfect fashion, if you ask me. And you can see no matter what side you look at it, it looks exactly like it did in the film. Pretty much looks like it just came straight out of the screen. And you can see we can articulate the jaw in the position it's in. That's about as far open as I can get it, but you can, because there's so much articulation on this, you can readjust it to get the mouth open further, and you can now see on the inside of the mouth we've got a really nicely sculpted tongue. You've got really nice detail here on the upper side of the inside of the mouth, and then of course all of the teeth that you would expect to find on the T-Rex from Carnosaur you can see are, you know, all through the course of the mouth, and they all look really nice. Very impressive sculpt work again, even here on the inside of the mouth. And again, hopefully my paint work is doing the Rex justice. I don't know how good of a job I did. If you are more familiar with the coloration of the Rex, you know, it may not look that great, I don't know, but I think it looks pretty good. You can see the ear sculpted out back here as well, up here on the top of the head. Again, fine detail galore. It looks absolutely gorgeous. And then as we move down here into the body, you can see tons of skin wrinkles and skin folds and stuff here as you move down. Lots of creasing in the skin of the T-Rex, and you can also see that I've added the striping effect that you see on you know, most of the reference material I've seen. There's a striping effect running down the course of the T-Rex, and I've applied that to it as well. You can also see quite a bit of variation of skin texture and stuff as you move down the course of the throat and neck region of the T-Rex. And of course you have lots of articulation considering it is an Artic Figures release. You've got one spot here, one spot here, one spot here, and one spot here, so you can move the neck and everything and get some nice different poses for the T-Rex and all kinds of different positions. Whatever you would like to you know, do with your Rex, however you'd like to pose it, it's possible for sure when it comes to an Artic Figures release. As you move down a little bit further into the body, you can see the shoulder blade there protruding from the skin. You can see all kinds of really nice looking detail. Looks like we've got like veins galore through the course of the Rex, more of that striping effect. And you can also see the arms are sculpted really nicely, again exactly as they appear in the film, and you've got some nice skin wrinkles and stuff as you move down here into the chest of the T-Rex. The arms as well articulate. You can articulate them and move them around a bit. So you've got that extra bit of articulation as well. And then as you move down here into the midsection, you can see another area here of articulation in the stomach. You can, move this around and get quite a bit of different posability for your T-Rex and reposition it however you would like to add a little more, variation of poses to your T-Rex. You've got that kind of big pot belly that you see on the Rex from Carnosaur, and if you get nice and close, you can really see how gorgeous that skin texture is. It looks phenomenal on this figure. As you move back here, you can continue to see the spinal column moving along the back. You can also make out the hip bone right there. Nice muscle definition as we move down the course of the thigh. You can see tons more of those kind of like veins and stuff that this Rex is pretty much littered with. More really nice skin detail as you move down. You can make out the knee there, the calf muscle as well, and the back of the leg. And then as you move down into the foot sculpt has some nice scoots running down the front of the foot down into the toes. The nails are sculpted really nicely. It gave them a nice gloss coat to make them shine, help differentiate them a bit from the rest of the body. Maybe a little too shiny looking at it now, actually. I might go back and kind of dirty those up a little bit, try to take the shine away a little bit. But as you move back up here into the tail, you can now lead into the area. Actually, before I even go that far, I totally forgot to show the articulation in the legs, but you can move the hip, you can move the knee, you can move here, and then here, and these areas of course swivel and stuff, so you've got quite a bit of articulation moving down. But as you move up here into the tail, this is where you get unreasonable amounts of articulation when it comes to an Artic Figures release, because you can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 areas of articulation just moving out there through the course of the tail. That is insanity. And you can see again lots of really nice skin detail, incredible honestly looking skin detail as you move out through the length of the tail. I have it curved all the way around right now, but you can of course curve it however you would like and reposition the tail however you would like, pose it however and whatever positioning you personally prefer. And of course, this is also pretty much like a stop motion dream come true. These figures are great for that. And then if you move here along the underside, you can again see more incredible detail as you move through. Again, hopefully my paintwork has captured the Carnosaur T-Rex in the most screen accurate way possible. I don't know, like I said, the reference material is hard to come by, but I captured what I believe the Rex looks like. And you can see here as we look at the other side, you're not really going to see much difference considering it's a totally articulated figure. It's up to you to articulate it and pose it how you like, but it looks pretty much the same over here again as we had just seen on the initial side. All the same articulation, all the same style detail, and my paintwork should be pretty consistent over here compared to what we saw on the initial side. But again, it is an absolute work of art if you ask me. I am a massive fan of the Carnosaur series, so having an actual articulated version of the T-Rex from Carnosaur is undoubtedly a dream come true. Another fun aspect of the figure is the fact that it's quite large, definitely has some pretty good size to it. Height-wise, considering it's, kind of like that vintage style T-Rex, you're going to get the tripod kind of position, sort of. It does have the tail off the ground, but, it's in more of an upright stance. You can see it's about 8.5 inches high, or right around the 22 centimeter mark. And then for a length, from the tip of the tail to the snout, about 14.5 inches, or around 36.5, closing in actually more so on 37 centimeters. So really quite nicely sized. For a size comparison to show you that, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line next to our Artic Figures Carnosaur Tyrannosaurus Rex. And this can very easily show you that, again, this Rex has a pretty darn good size to it. Definitely towers over everybody here, of course, but towers over Mr. Papo Rex, who is a decent-sized figure himself. This is one of those reviews where comparisons are a little tricky because there's not really a whole lot like this out, when it comes to Carnosaur, Tyrannosaurs. I don't have any other in my collection quite yet. I will be getting a Creature Preacher version at some point, but this version is the only one I have currently, so I don't really have any other Carnosaur Tyrannosaurs to compare with this version quite yet, but you can see here a comparison with a Mattel Velociraptor and Dilophosaurus to help give us another totally random comparison. And then keeping up with the theme of randoms, we've got some more randoms, as we have the Schleich Diabloceratops, the Safari LTD Tyrannas, and Collect Day Deluxe Dimetrodon here, next to our Artic Figures Carnosaur Tyrannosaurus for another comparison. And then here is Wilson the Tyrannosaurus Rex from PNSO, kind of sneaking up behind our Carnosaur T-Rex, just to help to give you another idea of a size. Even though they're two Tyrannosaurs, they're very different style Tyrannosaurs. There is also the Rebor Tyrannosaurus Rex, which these two are actually kind of similar, I would say, in size. You know, obviously the pose and positioning is a bit different, but you can see the head sculpts are pretty similar in size, the body mass is pretty similar in size, and we know the Rebor Rex is pretty big, so that should help to give you, again, an idea of the fact that this Carnosaur Rex has some decent size to it. And then just for the heck of it, here is the Artic Figures Spinosaurus next to the Carnosaur Tyrannosaurus to give you, again, one more comparison here, one final comparison next to a different Artic Figures release that you may have in your collection. So this brand new Carnosaur Tyrannosaurus Rex, the super articulated Carnosaur Tyrannosaurus Rex from Artic Figures, is incredible. If you are a fan of the film Carnosaur, you absolutely need this in your collection. You really do. Like, it's one of the coolest things that I've ever had the pleasure of adding to my collection. Easily one of the coolest things that I've ever seen come from Artic Figures, and they release amazing stuff consistently. Like, everything they release is always phenomenal, but this Rex specifically is, like I said, one of the best things that I think I've ever seen come from him, because I love vintage movie monster dinosaurs, and this is about as awesome as it gets when it comes to a vintage movie monster dinosaur. I would love to see like a Planet of Dinosaurs T-Rex or a Caveman T-Rex or something like that released from Artic Figures as well, but maybe time will tell on that one. Hopefully we'll get it at some point. But one thing that's really cool about this is the fact that, and it's kind of the reason it's been delayed, is because he's going to be including some really cool extras in the official release, and he actually has been in contact with the artist that sculpted the original animatronic puppet from the movie, and he's going to be giving you an autograph from him included in this. On top of that, he will actually be adding in a cast of the real-life T-Rex hand claw from the movie, and of course a box and a card will also go with the release. So there's a lot of really cool stuff that he's going to be including in this, so definitely a lot of bang for your buck. But again, when it comes to sculpting this out to look like the Carnosaur T-Rex, this thing looks exactly like the Carnosaur T-Rex, if you ask me. He nailed every aspect of it, everything from like the positioning of the dinosaur, the smaller tail, the skin texture, everything looks perfect to the full-bodied version of the Carnosaur Tyrannosaurus. Again, he really nailed the likeness of it. The figure is extremely highly detailed, as everything that Artic Figures releases always is. His models have some of the best detail that I've ever seen anywhere, and that is also the same thing that can be said here for the Carnosaur T-Rex. On top of that, you can articulate this into so many different positions, get so many different poses, create so many different dioramas, or again, create some stop motion for yourself if you choose to go that route. It's really up to you, because there's just a lot going on with this, a lot of possibilities as far as this Rex goes, and that is also another really cool aspect of the figure. Now, I believe the last I heard, this was going to be a limited edition of 50 overall, with only 10 being that extra limited edition where you can get this actually painted by Artic Figures with all the really cool extras and stuff. So there's kind of like a toss-up there as far as what route you would like to go. But again, as I said, this hasn't been released quite yet. When it does, of course, I will let you know here on the channel. So if you are interested in grabbing yourself one of these, make sure you subscribe to my channel, make sure you follow it, hit the bell for all notifications, because then you'll always stay up to date on everything going on currently when it comes to dinosaur collectibles, because I always release news videos and stuff, and I will update you guys in a news video, or at the very least, if it comes up like really abruptly and I want to make sure you guys know about it before I have enough news for a news video, I'll let you guys know in the community section. But if you are following the channel, you are subscribed to the channel, you will find out again when these go up for sale. So absolutely amazing job yet again by my Artic Figures on this Carnosaur T-Rex. This one, again, as I said, was painted by me. Hopefully you guys like what I did with it. Hopefully you like the final product. And again, hopefully it looks like the Carnosaur T-Rex as far as the coloration goes. I think it does from what I've seen. So again, absolutely over the moon happy about this. Make sure you follow the channel, subscribe to the channel so you know when this goes up for sale. And of course, follow Artic Figures on Instagram, because that's also another great way to find out when this goes up for sale. I will include a link in the description to both Artic Figures on Instagram as well as their website, where you can, again, follow them there. And make sure you pick this up when it does become available, and also like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.